Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to... Remember to wash your hands. Let's go. And you know, when you work on your gut thanks you. Hello. You might be thinking to yourself, why do a cooking show? And I guess I ask you, why not? I never knew I actually wanted a cooking show, but I figured why not? I know how to do that somewhat, and you know, I find food interesting. I found it so interesting I gained 100 pounds. And then I thought, maybe I should lose that 100 pounds. So I did, and here we are. Welcome to Doc's Cuisine. Today we're gonna be making kefir water. What the hell is kefir water, you might be asking yourself? It's delicious. I started this cooking show because I want to tell you about ingredients and how beneficial they can be. I thought it would be fun if you got a naturopathic doctor's view on ingredients and maybe how to incorporate them into your own life. We're going to start this cooking show off with
good old punch of probiotics.
If naturopathic doctors are known for anything, it's gut health. So why not start there, right? What's the big difference between kombucha and kefir? Big difference is kombucha, they use a SCOBY, which is a puck-like mushroom-shaped colony of bacteria. You brew tea, and then you put sugar in the tea, and then you put the bacteria in. It ferments, and then the more it ferments, the more acidic-y, vinegary taste you get out of it. So there's caffeine, there's tea, there's sugar, there's kombucha. Then there's kefir water. Kefir water is so much easier. It is basically just water, sugar, grains, that's it. Only takes 2 days, maybe 3 if you're feeling really adventurous. And that's about it. That's all you really need to know. I don't really like kombucha, and it is acquired taste, to say the least, and it gives me heartburn.
It makes me feel not great.
I decided, well, why don't I try other probiotic things? And then I found kefir water, man. Kefir water's so awesome. I love it so much, and it's so freaking easy. So let's talk about it. Modern cooking book, right? All right, so talk about some facts here. Where'd it come from? Why haven't you heard of it? Why have you only heard about kombucha? People don't really know where it came from. Fermenting has been around forever. So back in 1800s-ish is when they kind of can track a little bit of its lineage. Kefir is known for its milk products, which is not my favorite kind. I don't like the milk. It's sour, it's bitter, it's weird. Nobody likes fermented milk.
I'm sorry if you like kefir milk.
I mean, other than cheese, that's delicious. Kefir was first used with a goat milk product. They kept it in these bags when they went on their excursions, and then it fermented in there, and they found out it was actually really good for their gut, so they just kept it around. Jump in the future about, I don't know, a couple thousand years, and they now have modern kefir and kefir milk and kefir water. And what they found was in Mexico, of the prickly pear family, they made these little kefir grains. So it's not actually grain from a grain plant, but it is a grain pearl structure. What they found is when they ended up taking these grains and they put them in water and they put sugar in it, it would ferment. And then they could use that to be able to repopulate gut, and it just had all these other amazing health benefits.
Thus ergo, the kefir water.
Another big difference between kombucha and kefir water is that kefir water actually has a lot more bacteria and yeast than kombucha does. I don't know if it's because it has the tea and it dies off, or just like the grains from the kefir water end up just brewing more, but bigger bang for your buck, less time, it's perfect. So what are you gonna need? Let's start. First thing I recommend you get is a nice gallon container with a spigot on it. Makes your life so much easier when you're gonna be dispensing it into bottles later. Number 2, make sure that it has some kind of vessel to be able to put the date on. You can always use masking tape, or you can use Post-it notes and just stick it on there. It's important to label it because I can't remember when I started things. I'm like, is that Monday or Tuesday? Have been going for 2 days, 3 days, a week? Oh shit, it's gonna kill me. It's not good, then you gotta throw it away and start all over. Just label it, it's important. Second thing you're gonna need, the actual grains. Now a lot of times these come actually pre-dehydrated to a point. The ones that I bought it actually were hydrated already, so they're ready to use. This is how I keep them. They're usually in a packet, and then you put them in with some water. You have to feed them, that's the trick. So bacteria like to feed on sugar.
You gotta feed them, they're like little pets. They're gonna grow your little gut bacteria. They're important.
But I keep a cheesecloth and then a rubber band around it. And the reason is because you need it to breathe, to be able to cultivate, but you also don't want it to get bad bacteria and ambient air and gross and dust and who other knows what else is in the air. And in Arizona, it's dusty here. So don't put dust in your bacteria and it won't kill you. The third thing you're gonna need, in my personal opinion, is this container. Now, you don't need this. This isn't a big plug on something, but I found when I use these, it just makes my life a lot easier. So I put the kefir grains in here, and then when I have the water already done, I just dump this right in there, and then I can fish it back out. If not, you got a bunch of kefir grains all stuck on the bottom here, and you're dispensing it out, and then they get stuck. It's just not fun, you know? So like, be more efficient. That's my opinion. Totally optional, don't need to do it, but these are amazing. You're going to need some sugar. Sugar, sugar. There are two kind of people in this world. There are people who keep their sugar in the freezer, and then there are monsters. Show people that grew up with ant problems, am I right? Sugar in the freezer prevents that. And you know what? I'm an adult now. I don't live with ants. That's probably because I put my sugar in the freezer. Now, does it have to be white? No, you can have coconut sugar, you can have brown sugar. It does put flavor and color into your kefir grains, so be cognizant of that. But I just find that white sugar tends to work a little bit better in terms of dissolving. The bacteria like it. It kind of has a better product in the end. So I just stick with white sugar. The last thing you're gonna need is a receptacle. This won't be until a couple days later because you're gonna do the first ferment, but I thought I'd mention it now. Basically, I just take my old kefir water bottles from the store, kombucha bottles, whatever have you. I take the label off, you don't have to. But what I do is that I use them to be able to do my second fermentation because everybody loves the bubbles. That's the best part. First thing you're gonna do is you're going to be getting about 2 cups of hot water to dissolve all this sugar. After that, we're gonna fill up the entire container with room temperature water, so therefore it won't kill your bacteria because they don't like it too hot. I don't like it too hot, they don't like it too hot. It's really kind of a symbiotic relationship, so I completely understand it. These little buggers are quite picky. Also, don't use the tap water. I know some places say they have amazing tap water. They might. Lucky SOBs. Not in Arizona. We have dirt water for tap water. It's awful. So make sure it's distilled because these little guys need to grow in a somewhat sterile environment. So, you know, be nice to them and give them good nutrient water. I'm gonna get some hot water. We're gonna get this sugar dissolved. So we have things. Yay me. We have distilled water in here. I only fill it up like 3/4 of the way because you're gonna be putting stuff in it. We have our hot water. Got my burning myself to get this hot bowl of water in this aesthetically pleasing bowl for you guys, so you're welcome. Got our sugar, got our kefir grains, and got our little receptacles. And let's get at it, shall we? So first thing you're gonna do is you're going to get your sugar out and you're going to be dissolving it into there. But first we must spill it all over the place. So that's fun. So we're gonna get 1 cup of sugar and we're gonna dissolve it into this bowl. So make sure you spill a bunch of sugar everywhere. It's part of the process. This is fine. We're fine. We're not chefs here. All right, next up, lovely folks, now that we've stirred this, make sure you use a wooden spoon. Do not use metal because you can kill the bacteria off. We've got it kind of dissolved. I mean, this ain't no aesthetic tasty show. We're just trying to get a little bit of it dissolved. So once that's all good, next we're gonna take our kefir grains. I ended up using a nut bag. But they have a finer mesh to them so that you don't get as much stuff through them. So again, I just kind of use a bag that I use some rubber bands, some fancy equipment right here, and just rubber band over the top of it. You see these like kefir grains? They're just like little gelatin grains. They don't have any actual grain in them. They're just called that because they look like a grain. Currently, they are sitting in a water bath right now with about a teaspoon of sugar.
We're about to make a giant mess, so welcome to this kitchen.
We're gonna take this mesh container, take a bowl, grab your little mesh thingy. It's about to get freaking dirty. So you put it in here. See how easy this is? No floating grains or anything. They expand and they duplicate, just like the scobies duplicate. So be wary of that because you can reuse your kefir grains, but they will double over and over and over again. It's like fishing. You're just fishing for grains. You need about a 1/4 cup of kefir grains, but I've tried to fit about a 1/2 cup in here. I just put as much as I possibly can. And when it gets low enough, you can just dump them in there. Hopefully it doesn't make a giant mess. And then you'll just keep the water afterwards. Look at that. So clean for you guys. Super easy part. You got your grains, you got your sugar water, you put your sugar water in with your other water, now that it's cooled down to room temperature, and you just try not to make a giant freaking mess in your kitchen. Watch me pour. Oh yeah! It ain't no precise science. The bacteria will eat what they're gonna eat. So next you just give it a good stir, make sure it's all incorporated. Stick your cylinder of kefir and you put it right in there. Boom. And then I pour this, because it's just more bacteria water, right in there. Something that you'll notice is that over a couple of days is that it will start to become cloudy as the bacteria start to eat the sugar and depart their lovely amazingness into the container. So right now it's very clear, but over the next couple of days it'll get very cloudy and then it'll kind of become something that you probably don't want to drink.
But it's delicious, so bear with me.
So then you put this cheesecloth over it, just the same one we used over there, double dipping. I use my rubber bands to put over the top of it so that it's secure, but it's not going to get any ambient bacteria in it. And then basically what you do is you just label it. So after it's labeled, you basically put it in a nice dark place in your house and you wait a couple of days. And then clean up your countertops because they're actually covered with bacteria and sugar. Yeah, that's basically it. I'm not a good YouTuber yet, so I didn't make a batch. So I'm gonna wait a couple of days and you'll see me when that thing is done. So 48 hours, 72 hours, whenever I really get around to being able to pull it out, I'm gonna show you how to do the second fermentation. Cause I mean, technically you can drink it after the first fermentation, but you don't want to because it tastes like
Something you don't want to drink.
Okay, folks, we're back. It's been way too long. Yeah, definitely over the 72 hours. It's January by a lot.
But it's fine, because we kept this somewhat sterile.
I went to the store and I picked up some bottled kombucha kefir. Usually when you get a kombucha, it's in a brown container. They can have it in clear containers, but they tend to put them in these brown containers because it stops the degradation of the bacteria from the light. So this one is from Kavita. It's a tart cherry. And then this one is a Kavita. This is kefir water. You can tell the difference. Number one, it's in a clear bottle. So, I mean, it would be better if it wasn't a dark bottle, but they put them in clear bottles. And honestly, they look better. They're always these fruitier flavors, so strawberry, acai, coconut is this personal one. It's my favorite. You know, I don't know how much probiotic is in here. It's also kind of nice because they have stuff floating at the bottom of them, so that's when you know it's a pretty good product, right? Obviously, you can't see it when it's in a brown bottle, but with these ones you can see it. Right now we're gonna do the second fermentation, which is basically taking the kefir water you fermented and mixing it with the juice and making bubbles, because that's the best part anyway. First thing you're gonna do is we're gonna take off this nutbag cheesecloth situation we got going on over here, and we're gonna look at how cloudy this water is and give it a good stir, and you can kind of see it does stir up some sediment, so that's delicious looking. You'd be surprised how much you actually get out of this batch. Now we're gonna get a bowl and fish this thing out. I'm gonna take some tongs and I'm gonna grab this thing. I use silicone tongs. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I get myself a couple different types of juices because after about 6 or 7 bottles of the same flavor, you kind of want to switch it up. What I got for today was a nice mango lemonade by Santa Cruz Organics. And I also got some strawberry lemonade by the same company. So my only caveat is that with these types of juices, you want to make sure that it's real sugar and that it doesn't have aspartames and fake sugars because it'll kill off your bacteria. So you want to be able to have that, and you know, bonus if it's got stuff floating on the bottom of it. We're going to fill up the bottle. It's not a precise science, but I do about a 1/4 cup of juice and then fill the rest up. You're just going to fill up these bottles with this juice and that juice, and then you're going to cap it off. So about a 1/4 cup, eyeballing. 2 finger lengths sounds great. I like less juice. You can put more juice in if you want to, and sometimes you get more fermentation out if you put more sugar in it. But let's talk about some benefits of probiotics while we're here, right? There's 1,010,000 different articles on why probiotics are amazing. I don't think you need me to reiterate that. But a few things that I help my patients with when it comes to doing probiotics has to do with, obviously, a lot of the gut issues. And it's funny to me that everybody talks about how it's amazing that gut issues are fixing everything because doctors are acting like that hasn't been around forever.
Guess what? It has.
It's connected to everything, including 70% of your lymphoid tissues is located in the gut. So when you get sick, take a probiotic or two. It really helps. There's also a bunch of serotonin receptors in your gut. Therefore, it can help with anxiety and depression and all kinds of other things that make you feel good like serotonin does. Also, when you got a messed up gut, you end up being depressed.
Weird.
Now, a lot of these studies have to do with small populations, so, be cognizant of that. And also, we need to be eating in the billions of bacteria. So, when you see these yogurts that have like 1 million in it, it ain't gonna do squat. Anyway, we're done with the juice. Put that aside. Now we're gonna fill up with this. This is where the spigot comes in handy, and honestly, it makes your life so much easier, so why not? We're all about ease here. Busy professionals, am I right? So, here we go. Another thing to note is that you don't want to fill it up all the way. My mic just fell off on that one. You don't want to fill up all the way because you gotta ferment a little bit and you might explode, and you don't want that to explode, so don't do that. Give yourself some space to breathe. 1, 2, 3. Isn't this riveting? I know this seems like a lot, but you're saving yourself a lot of money, a lot of headache, a lot of time, and honestly, kind of saving the environment by not making them make more kombucha and you have to buy more bottles. So
You're a hero by making your own.
it's like the never-ending freaking thing, man. 5. Did I skip 4? 6, 7, and maybe a half. I mean, this is another way to do it. So at the end with that gallon, I ended up making 9, 10. I was smart this time, and I actually did this a couple days ago, so this might actually ferment. But at this point, you would just take all these bottles and you'd put them in a nice dark place for 2 extra days, maybe 3. Don't wait too long because they will explode, and don't put them in the fridge because they need to be fermenting at room temperature. So make sure you put them away, but not in your way, obviously. Now, for the best part, let's see if it even bubbles. Here we go. Oh, sad. It didn't bubble.
It didn't bubble.
It didn't bubble.
What do you mean it didn't bubble? It always bubbles. It bubbles so hard, it blows tops off and shit.
It didn't bubble this
Destroys
I didn't
the
wait
world.
time. Definitely not bubbly. Maybe it's too cold. I don't know. Anyway, so that's it, guys. Kind of a fail, but I mean, it tastes good. I just gotta wait a couple more days because apparently it's cold. I don't know. I don't know why it didn't work, but yeah, that's basically how you make kefir water. It's delicious. It's nutritious. I hope you guys like it. If you like these videos, like, comment, subscribe. I'm new, so those things help me out a lot. I hope you liked this adventure in my kitchen, and I hope to do more of these. So we'll see you next week. Bye.